He was the young black man I had ever met. He was really someone who did not accept his life the way it was. It was just the way life. I loved him very much, but not a passionate.
With over 100 million recordings sold and many accolades, Diana Ross has been a legend from her days with the Supremes. Her professional life has been just remarkable. However, a veil of secrecy conceals the illuminating lights and renown. What hidden truths has she concealed? These facts have only now come to light after the accusations made by Diana Ross's son about her. Come with us as we explore the hidden dramas of Diana Ross's life. But before we get to the epiphany, let's go back and find out how we got here. Diana Ross's meteoric rise to stardom began with a life full of unexpected turns. She was born in Detroit on March 26, 1944. Ernestine and Fred Ross Sr. had 6 children, with her being the second-born. Diana was her given name because of a bureaucratic mistake on her birth certificate. Her mother had intended to call her Diane. Regardless, her Detroit-based loved ones referred to her as Diane. While growing up in Detroit's North End neighborhood, Ross had the pleasure of knowing the renowned Smokey Robinson, who also resided in the area. The family sent Diana and her siblings to live with their grandparents in Bessemer, Alabama, when Diana was 7 years old, when her mother became very sick with TB. Their mother would not recover for another 7 years. When Ross and her family returned to Detroit, they made their home in the Brewster Douglass housing projects. Here, Diana's aspirations started to materialize. She studied apparel design, tailoring, and other related subjects at Cass Technical High School in her pursuit of a career in fashion design. Smokey Robinson helped fund her forays into modeling and cosmetology, but it wasn't the end of her hobbies. When Diana Ross became the first African-American busgirl at the Hudson store in downtown Detroit in 1960, she changed the course of history. She worked as a hairdresser for the neighbors to supplement her income while she was in school. In January 1962, Ross managed to graduate from Cass Tech, despite all the obstacles. However, her friendship with Smokey Robinson was the catalyst that propelled her to fame. Ross met Berry Gordy, creator of Motown Records, via his neighbor and family friend Robinson. According to her, "Actually, he got us introduced to Berry Gordy at Motown, and that's how we got our contract. He is very responsible for my career." This meeting would have a lasting impact on her life. On top of that, did you know that Robinson helped cement Ross's position in music history by penning a few songs for the Supremes? Everything that happened to her in her youth set the stage for her remarkable career. Diana Ross's musical career got its start while she was in school, when she and a few other females started a band after being inspired by the all-male local group The Primes. They signed a recording deal and became known as the Supremes under Smokey Robinson's supervision. Ross's determination and ambition shone through even at that early stage as she aspired to stand out from the crowd. Ross became Motown's biggest act of the 1960s when he led the vocals for the Supremes, a group that achieved unparalleled popularity. With singles like "Where Did Our Love Go" and "Stop in the Name of Love," among many others, they became one of the most successful female groups of all time. Beginning her solo career in 1970 with the release of her debut album, Ross achieved her first solo #1 hit with "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." Her subsequent singles, such as "Reach Out and Touch," "Somebody's Hand," and "I'm Still Waiting," solidified her position as a formidable solo artist. Ross kept becoming better and better far into the 1970s and beyond. Popular songs from her albums, which included "Touch Me in the Morning" and "Diana," included "Love Hangover" and "Upside Down." By teaming up with other famous musicians, including Lionel Richie on the song "Endless Love," Ross cemented her position as a top-charting phenomenon. Did you realize, however, that Ross's fame extended well beyond the realm of popular music? She debuted in films like Mahogany, went on elaborate concert tours around the world, and even dabbled in acting with parts in films like Lady Sings the Blues. For her breakthrough role as Billie Holiday, she was nominated for an Oscar and received a Golden Globe, making her the first African-American actress to do so for a debut film performance. From stage to screen, Ross was a true star, appearing in landmark films such as Mahogany and The Wiz. Her mesmerizing turns demonstrated her range and established her as an established actor. In addition to her notable film and television roles, Ross was a Golden Globe nominee for her work in the television film Out of Darkness. Her impressive career also included appearances on Platinum and other television shows. Ross had an extraordinary effect on the entertainment business, earning her the title of Female Entertainer of the Century from Billboard in 1976. She has sold over 100 million records globally, with her more than 25 studio albums and many hit songs. Her accomplishment of having #1 pop hits in multiple categories in the United States is quite impressive. The impact of Ross's top 10 UK singles, which spanned 5 decades, is felt far and wide. Among her many honors and achievements are 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, membership in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Supremes, and recognition from esteemed organizations like the Kennedy Center Honors and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Diana Ross has left an indelible mark on the world via her remarkable accomplishments and the things she has accomplished. You may not be aware of all that she has done, however. Now we can identify them. Diana Ross's private life has been just as dramatic as her public career. She is the doting mother of 5 children from her 2 marriages. She started her romantic adventure in the mid-1960s with a romance with Berry Gordy, CEO of Motown. Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein was born to her as a result of their relationship. Ross finally came clean about Rhonda's father, even though music mogul Robert Ellis Silberstein, whom she was married to, nurtured Rhonda affectionately. Chudney Lane Silberstein and Tracy Ellis Ross, whose real name is Tracy Joy Silberstein, were the other daughters of Ross and Silberstein. Their 1977 marriage, however, came to an end with a divorce. Ross rekindled her love life in 1985 and wed Norwegian shipping billionaire Arne Nies Jr. the following year. Ross Arne and Evan Olaf were born to them as boys. Ross continues to think of Nies as her soulmate, even though they split up in 2000. In 2004, Nies tragically died in a climbing accident. Aside from her romance with Smokey Robinson, Ross had other important partnerships along her love journey, such as one with KISS member Gene Simmons. Ross still values her position as a grandmother to 7 grandkids and maintains strong relationships with her ex-stepchildren, no matter the challenges she has faced. Diana Ross has experienced a wide range of emotions during her journey with love and family. However, her narrative delves deeper than what is first apparent. We need to go farther into this if we want to find out the secrets that no one has yet revealed. Diana Ross had her first taste of heartbreak when a child living in the Brewster Douglas projects in Detroit. A terrifying occurrence she described in her biography, Secrets of a Sparrow, was a wailing night. That night she felt the pain of a mother who had just lost her children, and the tragedy hit near to home. They were lost in an old refrigerator while playing with a youngster from the neighborhood, and they died before anybody could save them. Ross never really recovered from this horrific event, and it continued to torment her thoughts and memories far into her adult life. When her mother passed away from breast cancer, it was an additional crushing blow. In Ross's mind, she could still feel her mother's agony as she struggled to maintain consciousness under the stresses of her own demanding profession. Although Ross tried her best to be present for her mom, she later regretted not canceling her gigs so she could spend more time with her. After going through it, she still didn't feel confident in her ability to make the correct decision in a crisis. There were more misfortunes in store for Ross and her loved ones. Their gruesome demise was revealed in the basement of a house in Oak Park, a Detroit suburb, in 1996, when her brother Arthur and his wife, Patricia Ann Robinson Ross, were murdered. Their deaths were surrounded by mystery and terror. Both had been bound and smothered with plastic bags. Tragically, the couple's lives were abruptly ended after they had only been married for a little period. Ross and her family were already shocked and grieving when the circumstances of their deaths compounded the pain. Ricky Vernon Brooks and Regina Smith, who were tenants at the property, were thought to have been involved in the killings, although their exact roles are unclear. There are still unsolved issues and unresolved grief for Ross and her family, since Smith, who was supposed to testify, vanished before she could do so. Tragically, Ross's second husband, Arna Nace Jr., died in a mountain climbing accident in 2004, adding further sorrow to her life. Ross highlighted the significant influence Nace had on her life and their children during her intense mourning, even though they had divorced years before. His abrupt departure was especially painful since his adventurous nature and love for life had an everlasting impression on his family. Ross's moving memory of Nace's burial, with a rainbow symbolizing their last parting, captures the bittersweetness of the occasion. From close friends and relatives from her youth to those she had lost more recently, she was devastated. However, she endured far more pain than that. Diana Ross was living the dream when the Supremes were at the top of their game, but it wasn't without its price. She revealed in her autobiography, Secrets of a Sparrow, the tremendous stress and strain she endured due to her demanding performance and tour schedule. She had bouts of not being able to eat and getting rashes before performances because of the strain on her mental and physical health caused by the continual expectations. Ross battled imposter syndrome, the crippling feeling that she wasn't good enough and that her world would collapse if she failed, despite her seeming success on the outside. The dissolution of the Supremes only served to further complicate an already difficult Ross life. Conflicts within the group became more severe after Florence Ballard's departure as a result of her battles with alcoholism. Another founding member, Mary Wilson, said in her autobiography, Dream Girl, My Life as a Supreme, that the group's demise was hastened in part by Ross's desire to go solo. Wilson was brutal in his description of Ross's doggedness, calling it attention-seeking and vicious. The schisms that Ross widened by venturing out on his own rendered any efforts at reconciliation fruitless for decades. Wilson voiced his dissatisfaction about unsuccessful reunion efforts, adding to the bad taste that the tumultuous split of the Supremes left among all parties involved. Wilson insisted that Ross should have final say despite many offers, drawing attention to the residual malice and unfinished business between the two ex-bandmates. For Diana Ross, the two worlds of fame and love were inseparable, as is frequently the case with successful people. Berry Gordy, the brains of Motown, saw her while she was a schoolgirl in 1960. Their once professional partnership quickly took a love turn, and their romance blossomed with Ross's meteoric climb to fame. But their romance had to take a second place to Ross's meteoric rise to fame, as Gordy freely confessed. Their mutual devotion to Ross's quest of superstardom drove the choice to end their love relationship. The legendary singer Cher played Cupid by introducing Ross to Gene Simmons, lead vocalist of Kiss, and thus love returned to Ross's life. A passionate affair blossomed from a chance encounter during Christmas shopping. Sparks flew. The combination of Ross's magnetic presence and her unwavering self-assurance enchanted Simmons. After 2 years of a relationship characterized by mutual respect and appreciation, it came to an end. Love and fame are two sides of the same coin for Ross, and his romantic journey exemplifies this. Ross rose through the ranks of the music business while navigating the ups and downs of relationships, from her early days with Berry Gordy to her whirlwind affair with Gene Simmons. Were you aware that Diana Ross and Michael Jackson were really good friends? The undeniable connection between Diana Ross and Michael Jackson went beyond friendship. It was evidence of their mutual admiration and devotion to music. Their friendship went far back to their days working together on sets of The Wiz and other productions. Given this, it should not have been surprising that Jackson gave Ross a substantial duty in his will: the possibility of having custody of his children in the event that his mother Catherine was unable to do so. Jackson saw Ross as more than simply a friend. This revelation illuminated the depth of his affection and trust for her. But when the moment arrived, Ross had to make the painful choice to turn down the custody offer. The burden of such a job was enormous, particularly in the chaos that followed Jackson's death, regardless of her closeness to Jackson. After Katherine Jackson was placed in jail, the issue became even more complicated due to the controversy surrounding her brief abduction. Keeping the situation out of the spotlight was Ross's choice since, in her opinion, it was a private problem involving little children. She showed her compassion and honesty by making this choice despite the considerable media attention, and it demonstrated her dedication to protecting the privacy and safety of everyone concerned. The confrontation between Ross and rapper Lil' Kim at the 1999 MTV Video Music Awards was a contentious affair that shifted the focus from a touching personal moment to the event. The daring costume that Lil' Kim wore on the red carpet was the talk of the town. Her onstage interaction with Ross, however, was the showstopper. A friendly move by Ross stroking Lil' Kim's exposed breast at an award presentation with Mary J. Blige caused conflicting emotions. Some people found it rather unsettling, while Lil' Kim saw it as a compliment to her daring style decision. The difficulties of maintaining boundaries and respect in the entertainment world are brought to light by Blige's confession that she felt ashamed and protective of Lil' Kim while expressing her worry for her buddy. Public perception and interpretation of such encounters have been the subject of discussions sparked by the occurrence, which have included topics such as gender relations, bodily autonomy, and permission. One thing was certain, though: Ross's appearance turned an already memorable event in VMA history into something much more spectacular. Diana Ross's lack of a Grammy Award is only the latest tragedy in her long record of failures, considering the enormous influence she has had on the music industry. This unexpected revelation serves as a constant reminder that even renowned artists like Ross encounter disappointment and obstacles throughout their careers. "Endless Love" and "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" are two of Ross's most famous songs. However, he was never awarded a Grammy. Nevertheless, her impact on the music business was acknowledged in 2012 with a Lifetime Achievement Award, a clear indication of how influential she continues to be. Ross expressed her gratitude for the recognition in her acceptance speech, which highlighted her roles as a mom and artist while highlighting the significance of family to her. Beyond the limelight, Diana Ross has faced challenges throughout her life. She sought help at Promises Rehabilitation Center in Malibu in 2002, facing head-on her struggle with addiction. This choice demonstrated her dedication to taking care of herself first, so she could be there for her loved ones and admirers when she needed them most. In December of that year, Ross was arrested for driving under the influence in Tucson, Arizona, despite her attempts to conquer addiction. The event was widely reported. A 2-day prison term and a DUI conviction followed the public disclosure of her blood alcohol level above the legal limit, which tarnished her image. The episode was a stark reminder of the gravity of the consequences of driving under the influence and the perils of drug misuse. The public's interest in Diana Ross's recovery efforts peaked after her DUI conviction. Ross showed remarkable resilience by seeing through her prison term and committing to her own personal development and rehabilitation, despite all the obstacles she faced. Her bravery and will were on display when she chose to get help for her addiction and face it directly. Although Ross faced many hurdles on her journey to redemption, her courage in talking about them and seeking treatment demonstrated the value of resilience and self-care in dealing with adversity. The tragic events of Diana Ross's life, which have been documented in her autobiography, shed light on the complexity of celebrity and interpersonal relationships, notwithstanding her legendary stature and extraordinary achievements. Secrets of a Sparrow, Ross's book, is an honest look at the strain her profession and family life had on her. She struggled with feelings of isolation and shame as a single mother who was unable to always be there for her family due to her demanding work schedule. She longed for companionship and fretted about whether her family was okay when she was away on extended travels. The knowledge that these emotions were transitory and that Ross could persevere through them brought her comfort, nevertheless. The 35-year-old son of Diana Ross, the iconic singer, has nothing but admiration for his mother's limitless compassion and love. At the Aspen Snowball, Evan made it clear that his mom's motivations are based on love and not on selfish ambitions or cash. If Evan is to be believed, Diana loves everyone, not just her close relatives. He says she has an enormous heart for her family and the world at large. All of Diana's work, from her music to her charitable work, is driven by love. Diana had the opportunity to perform for an audience at the Aspen Snowball while also raising money for organizations near and dear to her heart. Even though the snowfall made it difficult for Diana and her family to perform, they still managed to earn money for cancer research and support for children's oncology. Evan was appreciative of the chance for his family to unite in support of important causes. Diana's participation in charity activities is indicative of her sincere desire to have a beneficial influence on society. Her selfless character is shown by her dedication to supporting activities that assist others and her long-standing relationship with honoree Denise Rich. In addition, Evan stresses how important family reunions were to Diana. When Diana can be with her loved ones to celebrate a special occasion, like a birthday or a holiday, she loves it. Her heartfelt tributes to her loved ones shared on social media further attest to the significance of her familial ties. As Diana Ross, played by Evan, we see a caring mother, an accomplished artist whose life is shaped by love and compassion, and an exceptionally gifted woman. The legacy of love and compassion that Diana leaves behind is enduring, and she continues to inspire others via her music, charity, and family values. Do you have any ideas as to why Diana Ross is a legendary personality in the annals of music? Is there a specific time when you felt Diana Ross's music had an impact on you? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you like this. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.